Hey everyone, Harrison Mixbus 4.2 has been released, and as with 4.1 it has some cool new features. So the lovely folks at Harrison have sent me a copy. Let's go and check it out. Okay, so we are over in Mixbus 4.2. As usual, I'm going to show you the build, which is 4.2.15. This is the rev. It's for Intel 64-bit Mac. Yours may be slightly different, your numbers may be slightly different, but the features are going to be at least as good. I should mention that we should always take a look at the credits, because, you know, as engineers, producers, mixers, even musicians, we often get overlooked, and in the advent of the death of physical media, or, you know, sort of death of physical media, credits are not really appreciated as much as they were. So yeah, take your time, have a read through the names. And the translation team as well. It's always good to keep in mind that, you know, there are real people behind this, and they're working hard to bring this product to us. So yeah, show our appreciation. You can also look at the build config if you're really geeky, but I'm not gonna go into that right now. Right, okay, so there's two main groups of things that I want to talk about in the upgrades for 4.2, and let's have a look at them. So first up is this templates window. Now we can now add track templates or new session templates. And of course session templates have been available, but the track templates were kind of in their infancy in the last version. But now we're able to add audio tracks, MIDI tracks, audio buses, MIDI buses, VCA masters as usual in the normal way that we could do previously. But also we've got this live band track and master chain factory templates, and we can add our own templates, I believe. I've not tried that yet, but I will probably do a video on that some point soon. So the live band tracks is the one that interests me the most. Now I want to show you the template setup window. Now this actually comes up, I think, as well when you set up a new session using the stock factory template. And there's some cool things in here, because, you know, you can choose how many of the drum mics you want, you know, whether you want this kind of full-on overkill drum mics, basic drum mics, rooms, whether you want these stereo or not. You can change the names of them, Git 4, whatever, however you want it to work. In fact, talking of the guitar track, a stereo guitar track, let's just select that one, and I'm going to take group tracks out. I'm going to take all of these features out. But when I add this, you know, you could select as many or a few of these as you like at any point during your session, not just at the start. Any point you can bring these in, just like I'm doing now. And there we go. So we've got a new track. It's labelled Git 4 as instructed, and had I chosen to group it and so on, you know, we would have had the results there. And, you know, you can save your own. So obviously I'm going to save things like, you know, my particular 3 main drum mic setups. You know, I alter them from time to time, well, from record to record, but I have a basic core. Now, to have those available that I can just pull them up, it's going to be great, because it means I can, you know, work really quick, reduce my cognitive load, just go bang, yes, that's done. No messing around, clicking buttons and so on, because I hate looking at computer screens, despite what you might think. And to make the process easier and quicker will allow us to focus more on the important things in the recording session, things that can't be done by computers, I should say. They're not necessarily more important than routing configurations, but they're probably more interesting. So yeah, great little new feature. And the same happens with the session, new session. You know, I've got my session templates that I've been working on previously. There's a few other things, other session templates that I have that aren't shown here today. But, you know, if you wanted a recording session and you selected this option, it would take you through to that menu, I believe. and you can customize your recording session as you want, or add more, or save those as templates, and the whole cycle carries on. So yeah, that is the new templates manager, which is wicked. I'm really impressed. And remember, as I say, you can bring in these tracks at any point during the session or at the start. So other things that they've done have added the X42 plugins to the macOS builds because they vanished in 4.1.713. Direct outs are now post-pan, like shown in the diagram. Now, you may be wondering, what diagram? Well, if you haven't read the manual, go and read the manual. If you wonder where the manual is, help, manual, and it'll boot your default browser, and we have the manual. There we go, with all the information in. Now, this is obviously the live manual online. You can save it as a PDF if you want, but this is obviously going to be kept updated. Now, if you don't know how the signal flow works in Mixbus, I've showed this before, but I'll show it again here. If you go into the mixing section and click signal flow, if you can't remember that, just type signal flow in the search bar at the top. But the manual shows you a full, in-depth, detailed diagram of how every channel on the Mixbus mixer works. You know, where all the components are in the signal flow chain. So that can actually be really useful, because sometimes when you're, say, trying to trim the output, or trying to trim, say, a contact, a software synth, then you might be grabbing at the trim button and it's not working because, well, yeah, the trim comes before your contact. Soft synth. So that's the basics of that. The other thing the other major upgrade in 4.2 is the summary view, and the summary view has been edited and kind of fixed because there was a problem with it in the previous one. You can now lock the zoom. So the summary view is this thing down here, and in previous version 4.1, one of them in 4.1, there was an issue where if you moved out here, then the end of your session file would move along, certainly on the build I had. But now we don't have an issue with vertical scrolling because that was a bit awkward. We can zoom around here, or we can right click and say reset summary to extents, and that brings us back to our overall timeline, full timeline view for the start to the end. Again, I tend to use the plus and minus and shift minus to zoom out, but do as you will. There are zoom restrictions now if you want to set them in preferences editor. And you can change the playhead dragging speed, and there's a few zoom restrictions. I have only recently just set this up, and you guys have probably been using this for ages. If it's not a new feature, I don't know if it is a new feature. Let's have a look. No, it doesn't seem to be. You can double click to zoom on any of these regions, which is kind of cool. So let's go back out there. Awesome. So general bits of upgrading done on version 4.2. It's kind of cool. Seems really stable. I've been using it for a few days on a couple of new projects. Just be aware that if you're installing new versions, you want to make sure any of your Lua scripts are backed up, and your templates, and you're going to drop them into the new installation. I always keep my old installations. So as you'll see here, I've got Mixbus 3, 4, that's actually 4.1, and this is 4.2.15, and it installs alongside itself really nicely. Obviously, I've got the 32C versions of those as well. Just so if I need to roll back and there is an issue, I can always roll back. So yeah, that's that. There was one more thing that I wanted to talk about actually. If you ever do have any problems, just nip over to help and go to chat. Now I know this isn't a new feature. Click OK there. But while we were talking about the manual, I thought I may as well mention it. This will connect you to Freenode IRC, and you can give yourself a nickname. I'm just going to say Russ. Oh, I want to click I'm not a robot, and then connect. And it brings you on to a chat window. Now, the chat window lets you, you know, ask questions and so on. And yeah, it's like online help basically from someone at Harrison, which is pretty cool because I can't think of another DAW that offers that at all. I may be wrong, but I don't think there is one. Yeah, so another win for Harrison. Cool. Well, that's version 4.2. If you haven't got your upgrade yet, I think it's a free upgrade. If you haven't got your upgrade, just check your email inbox. There should be a link coming soon, if not already. If you're not currently a Harrison user, check out my mix bundle, where you get Harrison Mixbus standard version, which would be 4.2 at the moment, and my favourite Mixbus plugins. There's a big discount on the overall price, or if that's not for you, just go to harrisonconsoles.com and check out Mixbus. There is actually a free demo of Mixbus if you want to have a play with it, and see if you can get to grips with it. It's brilliant. So yeah, go for it. Right. Enjoy version 4.2. I will see you next time. Happy recording. Okay, so since I filmed the last video, the guys at Harrison have contacted me and said there will be a different version coming out with another feature, which is this patch selection window. So this is, let me just show you, this is version 4.2.74. Right, okay, so I've created a track with General MIDI synth, and when I right click I can say patch selector and it shows me this window, which gives me all the different notes and that I can play through just by clicking. And then that's audition on change. I can just try the different sounds. Now they don't have to be this General MIDI synth, which is pretty generic. Actually, kind of cool if you know how to program General MIDI effectively. But we might do another video on that at some point. But yeah, it will respond to the different types of synth that you bring in. So, for instance, if I were to choose, I don't know, my Yamaha DX7. Now it won't have the patches programmed in on this, but I could create my own patches. I right click, I say patch selector, and then of course, you know, I can choose which patches I want to select for each MIDI track. I believe this can import standardized patch file and sound font patch lists. Cool. It's a cool feature. Really useful. Just a nice way of presenting it. Again, just things seem to be getting better every update, as you would expect. Yeah, so I've been doing a lot of MIDI work recently on version 4, and these new little features in 4.2 are going to make things nice and easy for me. Cool. Right, I'll see you next time.